please can anyone please confirm whether my voice is clear? The screen is visible or not, right?
And
Okay. So myself, I'm Vijay. I hold 17 plus years of experience, which includes 8 plus years of experience in Hadoop and Spark environment, right? So as part of today's demo, I'll be covering the following topics, right? So what is big data? Why Hadoop? Already we have got many technologies, why again Hadoop required, and drawbacks with the current databases. Drawbacks with the databases, current databases, right? And Hadoop advantages. And Hadoop ecosystem components. Hadoop and Spark. You can say Hadoop and Spark. Hadoop ecosystem components. Hadoop job market, right? Yes. Yes, I'm sorry. What is big data? Currently, if you see this big data, the name itself saying like huge volumes of data, right? Huge volumes of data. So the data storage units, like KBs of data, like you've got KBs of data, MBs of data, GB, terabyte, petabytes, exabyte, zettabytes, etabyte, so on, right? Zettabyte, etabyte, so on. So from TB onwards, from TB, you should have seen KBs of data, MBs of data, or GBs, or even TBs. Do you think like petabytes or exabytes of data is it getting generated in the current real world for petabytes or exabytes of data generation, right? 1 petabyte equal to right 1024 TBs. 1024 TBs, right? Already 1 TB is a large storage unit. So petabytes or exabytes of data. 1024 TBs means petabytes of data is it getting generated? Examples of petabytes of data generation, right? Today, if you see, right, the usages as the customers are increasing, the branches are increasing. So the data is increasing, right? If you take the example of any banking sector like SBI, take the example of SBI Bank, right, or HDFC. You see like within the city, you see like hundreds of branches for it. Within the entire state, you see like lakhs of branches, which in the entire state like crores of, see that many branches for SBI, right? Within the city, hundreds of branches. Within the state, thousands of branches. Within the entire country, lakhs of branches for SBI. Within the each branch, again, millions of customers for SBI, right? Each customer making multiple transactions per hour, per minute, per week, per month, per year. Each and every transaction need to be stored, right? Huge data is getting generated. If I talk like social media like Facebook, right? Social media like Facebook, it has got users not only within the country, it has got users throughout the world, right? Millions and trillions of users for Facebook. So in a minute, how many posts and videos are getting circulated? What is the data generated by Facebook in a minute? Not in GBs, MBs or GBs of data, right? Huge data is getting generated. So each and every, that is the data, each and every post and video need to be stored, right? Not only like Facebook, if you talk like today, every application generating huge data. If I talk like 1 minute transaction, if I take, If I take 1 minute transaction, just 1 second. If I take 1 minute transaction, if I just take 1 minute transaction, right? In 1 minute, how many FB posts, Facebook posts? What is the data generated by Facebook in a minute? What is the data generated by Twitter, right? Twitter. And what is the data generated by everyone you are querying in the Google, right? Data generated by Google in a minute. And if I talk like everyone creating your own videos and uploading in the YouTube videos upload. Yes. And like if you talk like everyone like using this email or Gmail messaging, right? Email messages, right? Or like if you talk about bank transaction, just now I was talking about the bank transactions, right? Lakhs of branches, millions of customers making multiple transactions. Similarly, from the telecom side, or even if you talk that e-commerce websites like Amazon, Flipkart, all that they are generating huge data, right? Everywhere you see like huge data is getting generated. On an average, for example, if you talk like Google, on an average, I'm talking like it's generating more than 900 petabytes per month on an average. Means 900 into 1024 TBs, the data generated by Google on an average, right, in a month. So here, currently we have got some databases, right? We have got some databases for storing this data. Talk like databases. Talk like Oracle database, MySQL, DB2, SQL Server, right? So these databases are used for online transactional processing, online transfer, day-to-day operations. But we have got with some specialized databases. We have got some specialized databases used for data warehouse purpose, right? Like Teradata, we have got like Teradata, Netija, Vortica. These are some specialized databases used for data warehouse purposes, right? DWH, OLAP, analytical processing. Either these databases or specialized databases, they can handle data up to some extent, but huge data or unlimited data cannot be handled by this. So as a solution to all the storage level problems, right, we have got a framework called Hadoop for storing huge data, unlimited data. Not only storing the data, processing that huge data in quick time, right? Okay, so before I go with the Hadoop services, right, how the data is getting generated, what is the data generated, right? Data sources, from where the data is getting, and types of data. If you talk like data has got experience, data has got future reference. Using data only, we perform everything, right? Data processing, data analysis, data visualizations, data clusterings, data recommendations, data classifications, whether the data engineering or data science, everything deals with this data only, right? So data has got experience, data has got future reference. Using data, we perform all this, right? Yes. So this is your data. Assume this is your data which got generated from the last 50 years. Assume this is your entire data which has got generated from the last 50 years, right? Think like from 1970 to like 2022, right? Yes, 2022. Yes. If you talk like 19 Please be in mute, right? 1 second. Srujan, Anandula Srujan, right? You are writing on the screen and you are just try to be in mute, please. Okay, I disabled annotations, right? Now observe this 19, for example, 1972. Assume this 2012. If you observe this 40 years, 40 years of data, if you are comparing with the last 10 years of data, right? From the last previous 40 years, only 10, like 10% of the data, if you see, or if you see like 20% of the data got generated in the last previous 40 years. 80% of the data what we see, right? Whatever data you are seeing in the current world, right? 80% of it has got generated from the last 10 to 15 years, right? Has got generated from the last 10 to 15 years. Previous 40 years, only 20% of the data has got generated, right? Reasons for this. Reasons for this huge data generation, especially in the last 10 years. If you go back, like if you go back to 1990s or 2000s, right? In the earlier days of this 1990s, if you like, you used to carry the data in floppy disk, secondary storage system, the size 1.44 MB. Today, you cannot even store one smartphone pic in that. But previously, in this 1.44 MB, many images, 50 or 100 images can be stored. 1.44 MB, KBs of images, right? Later, you got compact disk, DVDs, all this, right? Day by day, data is increasing. The storage systems also getting increased, right? So even like if you say like today, previously in the earlier days of these mobile phones, right? You got 128 MB of internal storage, 128 MB of internal storage, slowly increased to 256. Now if you see like 256 GB, not GB, even if you see like 256 GB, right? Is a very small storage now. 256 GB is also a very large small storage now. It goes to TBs of data, right? So this huge data generation, the reasons for huge data generation from the last 10 years, mainly usage of technology, usage of smartphones, and because of usage of internet. Yes. So, and what is the main sources from where this data is getting generated? What are the main sources? Mainly like 3 sources, right? Social data, machine data, transactional data. Social data, machine data, and transactional data, right? Yes. Social data means data which got generated from social websites, right? Like Amazon, Flipkart, sorry, e-commerce sites. WhatsApp, Facebook, all this such kind of data we call it as social data. Machine data means data which got generated, right? Data which got generated by scanning or reading or scanning the barcodes. Such kind of, for the items you purchase, if you go to a shopping mall, for the items you purchase, a huge bill is getting generated, huge, that is data is getting generated, right? Transactional data, day-to-day operations like bank transactions or telecom transactions. And what are the main types, right? Mainly 3 types of data. Three types of data. Structured data, semi-structured data, and unstructured data. structured, unstructured, and semi-structured data. Right? Structured data, which is organized in the form of rows and columns in the structured format like Excel sheets, database tables. Semi-structured data, which is not fully structured, which is not fully unstructured, right? Semi-structured means like PDF files, XML files, JSON files, right? All this example of semi-structured. XML files, they're not fully structured, they're not fully unstructured. JSON files, key value notations, right? Unstructured data, unstructured. Like chart messages, articles, images, videos. All these are the unstructured. But the biggest challenge today is handling this unstructured data. Whatever you see, right? Huge. What most of the data is taking in unstructured format. So we need to handle it, storing it, processing it, right? That's the biggest. So Hadoop is a kind of technology, right, which can handle any varieties of data, structured, unstructured, and semi-structured kind of data, right? So data is increasing enormously. Day to day, data is increasing enormously. So the storage system also need to be increased, right? So a solution to all this storage level problems and processing level problems, right? We have a framework. We have got a framework called Hadoop. So for all the storage levels and processing, we got Hadoop, right? So generally Hadoop is meant for two things. It is meant for two things, for storage and for processing. It is meant for storage. It is meant for processing. Means it is storing and processing, right? Yes. If you talk about any technology, right, either performs either storage or processing, right? C or C++, Java, .NET, all this meant for processing. If you talk about all these are for storage. If you talk like all these technologies meant for either storage or processing, but Hadoop is meant for both. It is a kind of technology which is both. It's going to store both, but it's going to perform both storage and processing. And for both storage and processing. So I've got some couple of queries here. So when Hadoop is able to perform both, that is storage and processing, what is the necessity of the technologies, processing and storage technologies, when Hadoop is able to perform both? So here we need to understand Hadoop. So Hadoop is meant for batch processing. Hadoop is not for online processing. For a single record, for example, you made a transaction. For a single transactions or two transactions, for online transactions, right? Hadoop is not required. For millions and trillions, bringing huge data and processing it as per the business logic, right? You are just going to pull the data from different data sources, databases, right? From different OLTPs, pulling it and storing that huge data where Hadoop can accommodate, right? Within a file system, right? So there we can process it. So for Hadoop is good for huge data. Hadoop is bad for small data. For small data, no need to go for Hadoop, right? So, and here one more query, right? For storage, does Hadoop use any database internally? For storage, does Hadoop use any database internally for storing the data? Yes, yeah. For storing the data, does Hadoop is using any database? Means no. Databases has got some problems, right? Database has got some drawbacks. So I'll be just briefing you about the drawbacks with the databases, right? As compared with Hadoop, right? So despite of this drawback, still Hadoop doesn't go with databases, but it's going with a special kind of file system. We got like Hadoop distributed file system, HDFS. So for this storage, Hadoop going with Hadoop distributed file system. And for processing, it is not using, sorry, it is not using any current technologies, right? It is going with a parallel execution model called as MapReduce Spark. For storage, HDFS. For processing, right, MapReduce or Spark. So Hadoop is meant for both. Unlimited data storage is possible in Hadoop and processing that huge data in quick time. Okay. I will just brief you. Okay, just observe this. I'll brief you about the drawbacks with the databases, right? But okay, just observe this drawback with the current databases. Why databases can't be used as a backend for what is why databases are not cannot be used for storing Hadoop's data, right? Drawbacks. Okay, just I list out one by one the drawbacks, right? Check, just observe this, right? Mainly, first databases, right? Limited storage. Limited storage. Second, mainly it has got limited storage in GBs or TBs, right? Databases can handle data like in GBs or in TBs. Secondly, most of the databases no parallel processing, right? No. Okay, no parallel processing. And in databases, if volume increases, right? Speed, volume increases, speed decreases. For example, if I take an queries like this, select sum of amount, right? Total amount, sum of amount, total amount from sales one. Sales one is a table consisting of some transactions or records. Only 10 records, only transactions happen today. Only 10 records. Total sum of total amount from the sales. Now, like select sum of amount. One lakh records. Select total amount from sales 3. 1 crore records. See this in first query, total amount of 10 records. Total amount from sales 3. Total amount from. So here, if you observe this, which query is going to execute faster? I want the sessions to be interactive, right? So you can just unmute and just you can give your response. In this 3 queries, total amount from sales 1, sales 2, and sales 3. Total amount, which one executes faster? Total amount of 10 records are 1 lakh or one. This one say it has 1 crore. Last one is say 1 crore.
So the first record,
The first query, right? This first query executes faster because total amount of 10 records. Total amount of 10 records. Total amount of, so this first query executes faster as compared with the other one, right? Yes. Just 1 second. Give me a second. So here, first query execute faster as compared with the other queries, right? Total amount of 10 records, right? Is next, if complexity increases, right? Complexity increases, speed decreases. If complexity increases, speed decreases, right? Yes. Fine. Select. Select, right? I'll take the same query, right? Same. I'll take the same query. Total amount from sales one. Select. Now see this average amount I want. Average amount from sales one. Average amount from sales one, right? Select standard deviation of amount, right? Standard deviation of amount from sales one. Total amount from sales one, total average amount from sales one, standard deviation of amount from sales one. So which query is going to execute faster among these three? Think sales one, sales one, sales one. Think 1 lakh records in this sales one. So which query executes faster among these three? Everyone.
so the second one where it
The sum of amount from sales one executes faster, right? Sum of amount from sales one executes faster because average amount is a two-step process. First sum to be calculated, next average to be calculated, right? Multiple steps involved in that. So first query executes faster. Standard deviation, lot of internal processing required. So query to query, as that complexity increasing, right? Speed decreasing. Okay. And the main drawback of databases, databases can handle only structured data. They can handle only structured data. They cannot handle unstructured or semi-structured kind of data. For example, if I take, observe this, if I take like this, okay. I want to take reviews for a particular movie. Right? Yes. For example, it is in the form of table, right? User feed review, right? Review. User one, user two, user three, in this way, 100 users. So user one saying the movie is bad. Say user two saying movie good. Third one also saying good. So the feedback is given in the form of zeros and ones. Can I write an SQL query? To count the number of zeros and ones, right? Can anyone say, can I write an SQL query? It's in a structured format now. Rows and columns, 2 rows and 2 columns, right? Any query?
hello. Hello. Hello.
Yes, count aggregation, right?
Select the column name from table name where reviews will be 0.
Select, yes.
Select column name from table name.
Select
Col-
review wise. Review is the column name, right?
Yes.
Review wise count I want. Count star I count functionality is there.
Yes.
Count from which table? Reviews table.
Right.
From reviews table, group by, there is a group by functionality,
Yes.
right? Group by which column? Review column. So it groups all that. So if you see the output here, right? Or it groups all that review zeros. Count on that thing. There are 10. 0, 1, right? It groups and counts, right? So 90 people saying the movie is good. 10 people saying the movie is bad, right? Okay. So this is what you can write an SQL query for this kind of data, because in the structured format, 0 in the rows and columns, right? But generally the feedback won't be given in this way, right? Generally the feedback won't be given in zeros and ones. First person, they will say in their own text format, right? First person saying movie is good, movie is good. Second person saying movie is not good, assume movie is not good. Third person saying movie something, it's like it's not. So they are giving in their own text format. Now can you write an SQL query for this? Can we write an SQL query for this kind of data? No, right? This kind of data can't be handled by databases. This kind of data can't be handled by databases. Yes. So, but Hadoop can handle all varieties of data, structured, unstructured, and semi-structured kind of data, right? Yes, this is the drawbacks with the databases. Despite with databases, Hadoop, see this, doesn't go with database. It's going with a special kind of file system called Hadoop distributed file system. Okay. Now coming to this Hadoop advantages, right? Hadoop advantages. Hadoop advantages, first one. Unlimited data storage. Unlimited data storage is possible in Hadoop, right? Yes, that is the main thing. Because of horizontally unlimited scalability, you got a feature in Hadoop, horizontally unlimited scalable, unlimited data storage, very high speed processing, right? Because of parallel processing. Because of parallel processing. And third, can handle all varieties of data, can handle all varieties of data. Can handle all varieties of data, right? Yes. structured, unstructured, and semi-structured kind of data, right? No licensing required for that. It's an open source. It requires commodity hardware. Commodity hardware doesn't mean that we need to have very highly configured hardware systems, right? Commodity, normal hardware is also. So mainly unlimited data storage, very high speed processing, right? In Hadoop, you can see. So if I talk like the speed of Hadoop as compared with other things, right? There were many tests conducted. If you see like Yahoo has conducted a test to check the speed of Hadoop, right? It has taken a table of size 1 TB.
Vijay,
Yeah, go ahead.
what does it mean? Could you please come again? What does it mean, commodity hardware?
Commodity hardware means, for example, in a Hadoop, master slave architecture is followed. Single master, multiple slaves, right? Single master, it's not like client server, not request response, not for OLTP, right? It's a single master and multiple slaves. Means slave machines means it doesn't mean that you need to have highly configured, right? All that you can have any configured and low configured also, not a problem for this. Commodity hardware means low configured systems also we can run, right? Yes.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
Yahoo has taken a table of 1 TB of consisting of 1024 columns, right? The task is like sorting, right? Task is sorting. Sorting based on 16 columns. So observe what is the time taken by the various databases. Time taken, right, by the various databases, right? Yes. Time taken by the various databases. First, Oracle, right? Oracle has taken nearly 3.5 days to process this. MySQL, it has taken nearly 6 days to process it. And Teradata, right? Teradata, it's a specialized database used for data warehouse purpose, right? It has just taken 4.5 hours, right? Yes. Netija, another specialized database, right? Used for data warehouse purpose. It has just taken 3 hours, right, to process it. And finally, Hadoop, you can check after all this. Finally, Hadoop, it has just taken 3.4 minutes, right? The latest version of Hadoop has taken just 1.2 minutes. Okay, so this is what the speed of Hadoop as compared with the other things, right? Where is the days and hours and where is this minutes, right? Hadoop has taken minutes of time, but the other things you see days and hours of time. That is very high speed for Hadoop, right? Because of this, say like great boom for Hadoop in today's market. Because not only like storing huge data, right? We need to process that huge data in quick time. Today, its industry is expecting quick results, right? We need to get that results in quick time. So we go for Hadoop and Spark. Spark has got very high speed in memory computation, right? Because of which we can get the result in a quick time. Right? So mostly if you see like most of the ETL kinds of projects are getting migrated towards Hadoop environment. Wherever there is huge data, right? They're getting converted into, they're just migrating to this Hadoop environment, right? Yes. So what are the things I'm going to cover as part of this course, right? Yes. Okay. Fine. So just if you observe this course content, right? Yes, just observe this course content. Big data Hadoop. What is big data? Introduction, sources, types, comparison, challenges, advantages, Hadoop distributed file system, right? So configurations, metadata management, storage, replications, MapReduce, right? MapReduce architecture, MapReduce components, job tracker, task tracker, phases, input splits, right? Scoop, SQL plus Hadoop combined, we say it as scoop, right? First two characters of this and last three characters. So what is scoop is for importing data, right? From different databases to Hadoop, bringing the data or pulling the data, importing the data from different, right? And while importing only, I want to perform different operations, groupings, aggregations, sortings, mergings, filtering, set. It can happen. But fine. We can bring only a specific data from database to Hadoop. I doesn't want the entire data of a particular database, particular table consisting of 1 lakh records. I doesn't want all the 1 lakh records. Only the specific 100 records of particular Hyderabad city I want. So we can pull that only that data to this, right? And also like exporting data. Once you got the results, we can export the data to the databases, right? Exporting transformations, filtering, vertical and horizontal merging, working with delimiters, groupings, incremental import, and yarn, yet another resource negotiator, right? Previously in the previous versions, there was some, you can see like what are the things got rectified in this from Hadoop 2 version onwards. The previous versions, the problems, what are the problems we see, everything got rectified by this yarn. Yarn, yet another resource negotiator, yarn architectural components, Apache Pig for this meant for processing, Pig Latin language, a simple scripting language performing the operations, right? And next I'll be discussing about the important component Hive. Hive is an important component which is mostly used in all the projects. We are going to make the data structured and performing query, and later like pure as like SQL queries we can perform, right? Yes, creating internal table, external table, partition, non-partition, performing joins, working with UDF, user defined aggregated functions, UDTF, user defined tabular functions. Non-partition, multi-partitions, and working with XML data, JSON, URL, web logs data, right? Yes. NoSQL database, you will be getting a knowledge on a total in brief about one NoSQL database. NoSQL, not only SQL, right? So we are discussing a NoSQL database, HBase, right? HBase. Spark SCALA, right? Spark SCALA. And coming to the Spark, first I'll be discussing about SCALA programming. Later I'll discuss about Spark, right? SCALA basics, SCALA data types, SCALA variables, typecasting, right? SCALA control structures, SCALA collections, transformations, and SCALA functions, right? Before I go with Spark core, defining Spark, RTD computations, persistence options, and the Spark core computing, different ways of creating RTDs. It is by groupings and aggregations, various actions and transformations, one by one transformations and actions in brief. Next, coming to the Spark SQL, right? Making the data structured, deployment mode, local mode, cluster mode. Yes, Spark application, stages and tasks, driver and executor, Spark job submission, creating a Spark jar using Eclipse IDE, simple build tool, IntelliJ, that is what is that Maven build tool, two build tools like SBT and Maven I'm going to show you, and how to create the jars on two IDs, Eclipse IDE and IntelliJ IDE, right? And also I will provide you the knowledge on Spark and Cassandra, one more NoSQL database, right? So this is what I'll be discussing as part of it. Apart from this, I'll be giving the knowledge on streaming and advanced streaming using Flume Kafka, right? And also knowledge on this Spark streaming, micro batches creations, right? These things. And a part of MLlib, machine list, Spark MLlib, right? Machine learning library, part of it, right? So this is what I'll be discussing as part of this course. So if you've got any queries, so tomorrow
Yeah.
also, one second.
Yeah, Vijay sir. Yeah, Pavan here.
Yeah, one second, Pawan. So
Yeah,
here, so today just so tomorrow also people can attend to see more on this, right? So what I'm going to discuss today, like one day, or it's not sufficient to demonstrate about all this. So tomorrow I'll be just briefing you about, right, why only Hadoop, why not the other technologies, why not databases, why only Hadoop can perform these things, what are the main things, what are the limitations with the other things. Okay, that I'll be discussing more, right? I'll be elongating in the tomorrow session. You can follow the same link for tomorrow session, same timing at 6 p.m. right? Yes. Now go with your queries, right? Yes.
Yeah, yes. Thank you, Vijay. So only one small these things, sir. See, here two things I wanted to ask you. One thing is, see, the examples which you are going to demonstrate while explaining these things are book examples or any real-time, scenarios. That is
Okay.
one thing. And my background is ETL background, and I have experience in ETL and SQL. So my profile will be suitable for these technologies.
Okay, fine. So I too have got knowledge on this Informatica, these things, right?
Correct, sir. Yeah.
Fine. So not a problem. See, this is everything will be practical oriented. There is nothing theoretical. This subject is not everything. Will be, and one
Sorry.
thing, yeah. So I understood your query. So with many working examples, we'll be discussing, right, all this. So each and every component has got its own importance, right? So I'll be discussing with many working examples.
Okay, that examples, say for example, if I go through some Python book or thing, they will some examples will be there. That is different and real time. The
so
actual work.
You refer any Hadoop books, you never find any working examples.
Okay,
you refer any Hadoop notes or any textbook, right? They just define some, like most of the things you'll see theoretical.
Okay.
But practical implementation you will see very less in that note textbook.
Yeah. For example, SCALA is there. So SCALA, if I go through SCALA, like they will give like to explain any particular topic, they will give some examples, right? Like that is one aspect. The second aspect is like in real time where this particular topic will come into picture, and which kind of scenarios, since you are abundant experience.
So one thing, Spark is an execution model we can implement in different languages, SCALA, Python, Java, or language. So the Spark, whatever the Spark APIs, whatever the Spark related things, everything remains same in all the languages. Spark execution model, whatever we discussed, right, everything remains same in all the programming languages, but the programming language only is going to differ. The way you define the variables, the way you define the functions, the collections, this will be differing. Means I am talking mainly about Spark, but implementation, for example, for example, if I take you are doing a project, for example, if think like if in your BTech level, if you will be doing a project, an application, if you're doing a project, you can implement in Java, Python, many languages. I'm not talking about the language, right? So that what you are learning is Spark and Hadoop things. How you are coding means, okay, that language, if you know anyhow, you can code it. The APIs, Spark APIs, this Hadoop things, everything with working examples.
Okay, that scala like which you are going to teach completely, that the particular topic is in a real time where it comes into the picture, like what is in which scenario, like that is useful, like that kind of scenarios you will make us to work, you will make us to write code that practice that way, right?
So,
yes.
and sorry for the inconvenience, interruption as well. So for this, in order to go with the Scala, do we need to know the Java?
No, not required.
Not required, right?
Yes.
So right now I have an experience of 5+ years. I'm associated with a private company. So where I'm working on a big data with a Scala. So I'm using the Spark and Scala as well. So I just wanted to know the things, how it's going. So I need a, because it's been a long time I haven't worked on it. So that's the reason I'm asking you.
So no, not a problem. If any people from who has non-Java from non-Java background, right? No, not a problem, right? Yes. So Scala, everything I'll be discussing in before I go with the implementation of Spark, right?
Yeah.
I'll be providing the entire knowledge on Scala before, right?
So in order to know the Hive query language, we need to know the NoSQL as well. NoSQL is nothing. Hive is nothing but the extension of a NoSQL, which is called MySQL.
See, no. No. You are stronger. Hive query language, HQL, we say, right?
Yes,
Similar,
Hive query language.
similar to SQL, not
Yes.
NoSQL.
Yeah.
Not NoSQL. NoSQL means not only SQL.
Yeah. I'm
Not
sorry.
only.
Sorry.
So we have got many NoSQL databases like Cassandra, MongoDB,
Yeah.
HBase, CouchDB, React, Peanut, Neo4j, right?
Yes.
Most famous NoSQL databases like HBase, MongoDB, Cassandra. These are well known, right?
Yeah.
But HBase is a kind of NoSQL database which is especially designed for Hadoop environment only. It won't work for other environments. Only for Hadoop only it is designed, HBase. But if you have got Cassandra, MongoDB for these open applications, not only for Hadoop environment, for open applications, for any other applications, it works. Means schemaless behavior. That is means record to record different number of fields can be maintained. In NoSQL, as compared with SQL databases, in SQL databases like Oracle, first record to last record, same schema you need to maintain.
Yeah.
Means if 100 employees are there, we have got a employee ID, name, salary, designation, department, right? For all the employees, the same columns need to be maintained. But in NoSQL, schemaless means my first record can go with 3 fields, second record with 4 fields, third record with 5 fields, fourth with 10 fields. Record to record, different number of fields can be maintained, like a JSON format, key value notation, right? Any number of, that's what the advantage of this NoSQL. SQL means structured, NoSQL schemaless. So and Hive follows HQL, similar to SQL only.
Hi Vijay sir.
But okay, I'm coming back to your query. So we'll be discussing in brief about NoSQL, the NoSQL databases, what is the problem with RDBMS, types of NoSQL's purposes, and different types. And coming to this, I'll be discussing on HBase, right? And in Spark, I'll be giving knowledge on Cassandra also. One more NoSQL. Yeah,
So,
yeah.
And moreover, can we be provided with these recorded sessions? I mean, after the class.
Yeah, definitely. Every day you'll be getting the recorded session. Every session is video recorded. You'll be getting the session recorded, right? The day itself. For
Right.
example, yes.
So moreover, the code is written on the basis of Eclipse or else IntelliJ. Which one we are using?
So mostly like I'll be showing on both the IDs. So it depends, right? So in Eclipse, how we can write in IntelliJ, but just statement by statement, I'll be showing you, right, in interactive mode, so that we can check for every statement what is the output. Generally, in batch mode, if you see like 20 lines of code and getting a final output, right, you don't know what happening. Statement by statement, I show you what the result, what you get, right?
Yes. So that we can debug the things within the Eclipse and IntelliJ.
Why? Because you need to understand, right, what you are writing in that. See, if
Right.
20 lines of write, I'll say this is the output. They're not like that. Statement 1 output, statement 2 output, statement 3 output. Interactively.
Right.
In interactive mode, I'll show you. Scala has got interactive shell. In that first statement, I'll type and show you that result. So it's a data flow. It's a data flow language, right? Spark is a kind of data flow language. The output of that first one is the input to the next one. So first you need to know what is the output of first one, so that it will be the input to the second, and the second one output will be that input to the third one, right? So if you know that what output is the first, what will be the output of the first one, right, then you can know the second one, third one. So in that way, statement by statement, I'll be showing you in interactive shell, right? First, later in batch mode, you can write all those statements and execute and check, and you can create and submit the job, right? Yes.
Thank you.
fine.
Vijay sir.
Yes, yes.
రీసెంట్గా ఒక ఆర్గనైజేషన్ జాయిన్ అయ్యాను. వాళ్ళు స్కేలా విత్ స్పార్క్ ఇచ్చారు వర్క్. సో నేను ఐఎమ్ వెరీ న్యూ టు ద స్కేలా అని చెప్తే వాళ్ళు 20 days టైం ఇస్తానని చెప్తున్నారు.
Okay.
సో నా కన్సల్ట్ ఏంటంటే ఈ దుర్గాసాఫ్ట్ టీంతో మాట్లాడాను. సో మీ ఆఫ్టర్ క్లాస్ ఎవరు రికార్డింగ్ ప్రొవైడ్ చేస్తారు కదా.
Yes, yes.
సో నేను ముందుగానే పే చేసేస్తా. అది రికార్డింగ్ అంటే ప్రీవియస్ క్లాసెస్ రికార్డింగ్స్ ఉంటాయి కదా,
Yes,
అవి
yes.
ఏమైనా ప్రొవైడ్ చేయగలరా లేకపోతే ఏంటి అని?
Not a problem. We can provide it.
అంటే నాకు అంటే ముందుగానే కావాలి క్లాస్ ప్రొవైడింగ్స్. అంటే క్లాస్ రికార్డింగ్స్ ప్రొవైడ్ చేస్తే క్లాస్ వినడానికి ఏమీ లేదు, ఓన్లీ క్లాస్.
So once, okay, that recordings whatever we provide is only viewable. They are not downloadable. You can just you can view all the videos. Nearly you will be getting 100 videos, right? 50 for Hadoop and 50 for Spark.
నాట్ ఆల్ దో థింగ్స్. మేబీ ఇవి ఇప్పుడు హడూప్ నుంచి స్టార్ట్ చేస్తారు కదా, సో అవి నాకు ఆఫ్టర్ క్లాస్ వచ్చినా పర్లేదు, నాకు స్కేలా ముందుగా ఇవ్వండి, యాక్సెస్ కావాలి.
See one thing. If you want to have access on that videos immediately because of your job pressure, other things, right? Not a problem. We'll be providing all the videos in advance to the students, right? For those some people who wants. There are many students who are asking only. They'll be following the videos. Means they'll asking the videos. They'll be daily they will be going through some 5-6 videos, right? So in that way, so for those people we'll be providing. Not once you get enrolled, right? You can get the videos. You can attend the batch, any of the batch of my Hadoop or Spark.
Yeah, okay. Tomorrow I will enroll. Yeah,
you can get that videos. Not a problem. You can talk with that online team also. They'll say that they will be providing the videos at a single shot, right?
But they are giving only videos, not attending classes, right?
No, not a problem. The notes I'll be forwarding you, right? So just a clear notes with step-by-step comments I'll be providing you. Just I'll show the previous batches.
Sir, ఏదైనా ప్రాజెక్ట్ కూడా చేయిస్తారా end of the
So at the end of the course I'll be showing you how the project flows, right? The project one second.
బట్ విజయ్ సార్ ఆల్రెడీ మాట్లాడాను దుర్గా వాళ్ళతో. వాళ్ళు వీడియోస్ ప్రొవైడ్ చేసినప్పుడు క్లాస్ అటెండ్ అవ్వడానికి లేదని చెప్పారు. సో అందుకని మిమ్మల్ని అడిగింది.
Series Spark one by one every day, right? To total Spark, scala functions, scala aggregations, difference, the clear notes of Spark. Okay, nearly like 42 documents we'll get for this.
So these documents will be shared based on the daily classes, right?
Daily basis, right? Yes.
So and moreover the course duration is for 3 months, is that so?
One second. If any like 2.5 months it is.
Okay.
2.5 months. If anybody has got any urgency, right, you can go with Hadoop and Spark parallelly.
Okay, fine, thank you.
So, I mean, is there any differentiation for that Hadoop and Spark? I mean, do we have the 2 different classes for that?
Yeah. Hadoop and Spark, if you want to attend parallelly also you can attend. So every like you'll be Spark batches will be starting, Hadoop batches will be starting, right? So if you are both for Hadoop and Spark, you can attend Hadoop once Spark classes, you can attend that also parallelly.
Yes, sir. So you are the one who is taking these 2 classes for the Hadoop and Spark as well?
Yes. Hadoop and Spark with Scala, and also I handle PySpark classes also.
Okay, that's great. So could you please let me know the availability of your Spark classes as well, so that I can go with the both parallelly?
So once the students gets enrolled, right, in the classes, I'll be just intimating next 1 week, next week a Spark batch is going to start. If anybody like, then you can join that, right? I'll be intimating in that.
So probably we'll be starting our official classes on Monday. So after completing that,
and one more thing I forgot to say, right? Everyone, before you go with your enrollment process, the timing for this batch is for the first 10 days or 2 weeks, right? It goes at 6 p.m. But after that, the timing for this batch will be at 7 p.m.
Yeah, okay.
So once again I'm saying, right, one again after enrolling, that it's not like before itself, like first 10 days or once 10 days, right? Basics of all this. 10 days it goes at 6 p.m. After the 10 days, it will be 7 to 8. Means up to the end of the course, it will be at 7 to 8.
Okay.
Fine.
Yeah, fine.
హాయ్ విజయ్ సార్.
Yes,
అనిల్
yes.
here.
Yeah, yeah.
అంటే రీసెంట్ గా నేను హెచ్పిలో జాయిన్ అయ్యాను. ఇంతకుముందు నా టెక్నాలజీ లైనెక్స్ అనేది. సో ఇప్పుడు వాళ్ళు రీసెంట్ గా మేమే హడూప్ ట్రైన్ చేసి మేము మూవ్ చేస్తామని చెప్పారు. ఎల్టీ లెవెల్ తీసుకున్నారు. బట్ అయితేనేమో ఇక్కడ మనకు అంటే నేను ఈరోజు ఫస్ట్ క్లాస్ ఇక్కడ దుర్గాలో. సో నాకేమంటే ఇక్కడ అది ఇన్ అండ్ అవుట్ ఎలా వర్క్ అవుతుంది, ఇక్కడ మనకు 3 లేయర్స్ ఉన్నాయి కదా, ఇంజెక్షన్ అనేసి, కాఫ్కా అనేసి, డిస్ట్రిబ్యూషన్ అనేసి, పర్సిస్టెన్స్ అనేసి 3 ఉన్నాయి కదా. సో వాటిలో వర్క్ ఇన్ అండ్ అవుట్ ఎలా వర్క్ అవుతుంది. ఇక్కడ మాకు మోస్ట్ ఆఫ్ ది వర్క్ ఇక్కడ ఇది అపాచీ నిఫీ ఉంది కదా, ఇంజెక్షన్ ఆ టూల్ లాగిన్ వేసి మానిటర్ చేస్తూ ఏమన్నా హెల్త్ చెకప్ చేస్తూ అట్లా మానిటర్ చేస్తూ ఉండాలి. అంటే మాకు ఇక్కడ ఏమన్నా అపాచీ నిఫీ గురించి ఏమైనా చెప్పగలుగుతారా మీరు?
You got knowledge on this? Any basic knowledge on this Hadoop Spark?
Spark లేదు. No, I don't have any knowledge on Spark.
Okay.
ఇక్కడ మోస్ట్ ఆఫ్ ది వర్క్ అంతా ఇది నిఫీ మీద డిపెండ్ అయింది. నిఫీ ఇది ఓపెన్ షిఫ్ట్ కంట్రోల్, ఇది కాన్ఫ్లుయెంట్ అంట దీని మీద డిపెండ్ అయింది. సో మీ టాపిక్స్ ని ఓకే ఇవన్నీ కూడా యూజ్ చేస్తున్నారు. మేము హెచ్బేస్, హైవ్ ఇవన్నీ చూస్తున్నాము.
As a Hadoop developer, right, compulsory need to have a knowledge on NoSQL database, HBase, anyone, and also you need to. I'll provide you the knowledge on streaming also. I said like Flume, Kafka, Spark streaming also compulsory. Micro batching I'll be giving. That is Flume, Kafka, and Spark streaming and micro batching, right?
Okay,
and that is what. And Spark data frames creation, Spark SQL, Spark core. Entire my most concentration will be on Spark and Hive, right? Hive and Spark are the mostly used in every project, right?
Yes.
And also Scoop.
So moreover, in the interviews, most of the people were asking associated with the data frames itself, Spark data frames. Spark
Yes, that's what I'll be spending more time with the data frames. Many data frame APIs are there. Later I'll discuss about data frame APIs. Later that data frames, how we can convert to pure SQL statements and working on that with many working examples, right?
Because most of the interviews and the questions are being asked based on the data frames only. So in the recent time I've attended the few of the interviews. They are completely targeting on these data frames, and along with that the SCALA part. So they are not looking after the thing which is associated with the SQL, but they are most probably they are looking only with the Spark as well as SCALA only.
Yeah, they will be asking on data frames, RTDs, right?
Yes, and map reduces as well.
Yes.
సో సార్ అది ఆపర్చునిటీ మీద మాకు ఏం ట్రైనింగ్ అంటే దానికి ఎలా అంటారు సార్ నాకు అది? ఇప్పుడు నాకు మెయిన్ ఇక్కడ ఇది కావాలి, ఇది ఆపర్చునిటీ మీద నాకు ట్రైన్ కొద్దిగా బేసిక్ నాలెడ్జ్ కావాలి. అది ఎలా?
So whatever that job related things you can just discuss with me personally, right? Later once. Okay.
Sure sir. Can I have your number?
So you can just, the online team will arrange a call, right? Fine.
Online team?
So you are just you can just talk with that front office, right? They will arrange call.
Sure then. I'll check with them. Sure sir. Thank you.
Okay, fine. So any more queries, right? So running out of time. So still, if you've got queries, you can ask me in tomorrow session. Tomorrow also you can attend the session, right? We'll see more on this.
So far, how many classes are over, sir? Today my first session.
This is the first session itself.
But I could see in the social, I mean in UI here, 13th date it was started, but keep on they're changing, right? From 13 to 16, 16 to 20. Like
6 p.m. it's a first play. And you see at what time it is. Another time it is.
Oh, I didn't notice proper the timing of previous batches.
6 p.m. it is the first day, right? You should have seen some other batch time.
Yes, correct.
Fine. Okay.
Thank you.
Fine. So okay, I'm stopping here for today. Yes, I will continue tomorrow. Follow the same link, same time tomorrow at 6 p.m. Right? Thank you all for your time. Thank you.
Thanks, Vijay.
Okay, fine.